Gee, what, 3 weeks until Halloween. Don't you love Halloween? I sure do. Fun, isn't it? Why am I talking about Halloween? We live in a Halloween nightmare right now. OMFG. So many little items I want to touch on this evening's podcast. A couple of them concern the Trump monster and this abomination we have here in Georgia who's running for Raphael Warnock's Senate seat. I'm talking about Herschel Walker. This just keeps getting more bizarre and more bizarre, this whole Herschel Walker campaign. Now we have all these white senators who from the South who are coming here to, over the next few days, to try to boost Herschel Walker's standing in the polls. All these white men who are coming here to make sure that go ahead and say it, that their enslaved idiot, Herschel Walker, becomes a senator. That's how these people like Tom Cotton and DeSantis and the rest of the scum, they look at Herschel Walker in exactly the same way that the plantation masters looked at their the people who worked inside the big house during slavery. No, trust me, I live down here. I know what I'm talking about, okay? Herschel Walker is seen as a black clown, someone that the white men will be able to easily control once he gets into United States Senate. He will do exactly what he is told to do because he is an ignorant, stupid fool. But Tom Cotton and who's this other asshole, the one that was involved in the big Rick Scott, the biggest Medicare fraud in the history of the country. Rick Scott belongs under a jail someplace. Jesus, I can't stand what's going on. I mean, I can't stand it. In Arizona, in Wisconsin, in Georgia, in Michigan, just all over the country. This Trump filth is controlling so many people. It's just astonishing. Just astonishing, he said for the 8 millionth time. Herschel Walker. He said in a brief interview with NBC News, Walker confirmed the identity of the woman who has claimed he paid for her abortion 13 years ago when she brought it up in an email to or a text message to his wife. Yeah. Walker said this was also the first time this woman who had the abortion, and by the way, she's the mother of one of his 4 children. He's got them all over the goddamn place. It's the first time, he says, that she mentioned to him or his wife that she had an abortion. The woman wrote in a text message sent Friday to Herschel Walker's wife, Julie. And it was Julie who started the conversation. But the woman said, quote, "Did you know Herschel paid for my abortion the first time? Or that he told me it wasn't the, quote, right time to have her current child?" That's what the woman put into this text. And in response, Herschel Walker's current wife acknowledged that she had tried to be a mediator between Herschel Walker and this woman. And Julie Walker wrote to the woman, quote, "This message makes me incredibly sad. You know, I have continually tried to bridge a better relationship between you and Herschel, putting the child the two of you had first." End quote. Now, the Walker campaign provided copies of the text message exchange to NBC News, which was just a few hours before the New York Times published that interview with a woman who says that Walker had paid for the abortion or tried to pressure her to get the abortion. NBC News is, as usual, which is their practice, withholding the woman's identity and the child's name to protect them. Herschel Walker said this, quote, "The first I knew about any of this was when some reporter asked me about an abortion. And I'm like, no, that's a lie. And then I was asked if I paid for an abortion. And I'm like, no, I did not pay for an abortion. I'm not saying she did or didn't have one. I'm saying I don't know anything about that. I don't know. I have nothing to hide. That's why I'm talking to you." End quote. Now, normally, this piece of wasted humanity, Herschel Walker, only talks to the fascist media in this country, led, of course, by the scum and the filth that infests the Fox News sewer. But this time he was talking briefly with NBC. Anyway, the messages that his campaign provided between the woman with whom he had the abortion and wanted her to get a second one and has a living child, the messages between that woman and his current wife date back to May of this year. And the messages do provide a glimpse into the corrosive effects of a political campaign on a family whose relationships became increasingly tense, as details about Herschel Walker's personal life were reported. And some of those reactions are coming from the 4 children he had with 4 different women. And some of the reactions coming about the violence in his life. I mean, this fucking maniac, talks about he wants to kill people, that he does, and he's not. What did he say? It showed up in one of the ads against him. I'm not going to take a vow against violence. Jesus. And Herschel Walker's oldest son, his name is Christian Walker, denounced this horrible son of a bitch, Herschel, called his father a liar and a hypocrite, and went on to criticize him for having multiple children and having abortions, because the son is not, he's not a liberal. He's not a pro-abortion or pro-woman's privacy. He is who he is. But he went after his filthy father as a hypocrite and a liar. Now, Christian had appeared early in the campaign, joined his father at one campaign event, but that was then. This is now. Well, I know you're probably tired of hearing this shit about Herschel Walker, right? I know I am. He's another one. I just wish some of these people would just disappear, just go away. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.